What if? Imagine a modern metropolis that is completely dependent on a centralized energy system. During one of the peak hours of the load caused by the abnormal heat, a cascade failure occurs. Initially, a key transformer substation fails due to overheating and subsequent fire. Automatic load switching systems fail due to outdated software and hidden vulnerabilities, which leads to an avalanche-like shutdown of sectors of the city's power grid. Within a few minutes, the chain reaction overloads neighboring nodes, causing them to shut down in self-defense. Backup power and emergency generators intended for vital facilities are unable to cope with the scale of the problem or are not starting due to improper maintenance. Within an hour, the entire city, including its suburbs, is completely de-energized. There is no electricity anywhere.
Effects. An hour after a complete power outage, the urban infrastructure begins to collapse according to the domino principle. Water supply and sewerage. Pumping stations supplying water to the urban network and pumping wastewater stop. Water stops flowing into buildings above the first or second floor. Very soon, the water supply in the whole city stops. The sewer system overflows, which leads to a reverse flow of sewage into basements and on the first floors of buildings, as well as onto the streets. Communication. Cell towers, deprived of basic power, switch to batteries, the resource of which runs out within a few hours. Landlines that depend on the electronics on the PBX are also disabled. The internet disappears almost instantly. The city is plunging into an information vacuum.
Transportation. Traffic lights go out, causing complete chaos on the roads. Electric public transport, including subways, trams, and trolleybuses, is coming to a standstill. Metro trains stop in tunnels. Gas stations cannot pump fuel without electricity, which also paralyzes car traffic. Buildings and structures. Modern high-rise buildings are turning into vertical traps. Elevators, ventilation, air conditioning, and fire extinguishing systems are no longer working. Electronic locks block access to many rooms. Vital equipment that is not connected to serviceable backup generators is being shut down in hospitals. Food supplies. Refrigeration units and stores and warehouses are shut down, which, in hot conditions, leads to rapid deterioration of huge stocks of food.
After 72 hours, the urban environment becomes hostile. The streets are flooded with sewage and food waste is decomposing everywhere. The lack of communication and information generates panic and disorientation. Buildings become uninhabitable due to lack of water, sanitation, and ventilation. Solution/survival scenario. Short-term measures. First 72 hours. Decentralization of resources. The main task is to provide basic needs at the local level. It is necessary to create autonomous life support centers based on schools, stadiums, or other large public buildings where it is possible to organize the collection and distribution of resources.
Water. It is necessary to immediately arrange the delivery of bottled water from reserves and nearby regions. In parallel, natural sources, rivers, lakes, should be used, setting up boiling and disinfection points for water. In modern buildings, it is possible to use water reserves from boilers and heating systems after appropriate filtration and boiling. Energy. Mobile diesel generators and fuel must be delivered to critically important facilities, hospitals, communication points, water intake points. The priority is to launch at least part of the pumping stations to restore minimal water circulation and sewerage operation. Communications. Deployment of mobile radio communication systems to coordinate rescue and repair services. The use of loudspeakers and printed advertisements to inform the public.
Restoration of the power system. Repair teams must work around the clock, starting from key nodes and gradually, sector by sector, restore the supply of electricity. This can take from several days to weeks, depending on the extent of the damage. Creation of autonomous energy clusters. In the future, the urban energy system should be rebuilt according to the principle of decentralization. Each district, or even block, should have its own backup energy sources: gas turbines, solar panels on roofs, small generators capable of supporting the operation of key infrastructure in the event of a failure of the central grid. Infrastructure modernization. It is necessary to audit and modernize all critical systems. Install modern automatic control systems that can isolate damaged sections of the network, preventing cascading failures. Create duplicate water supply and sewerage systems.
Alert and training system. Development and implementation of an emergency alert system that is independent of electricity and cellular communications, for example, based on sirens and radio. Conducting regular exercises for the public on actions in conditions of a complete blackout. Safe living. In the long-term absence of centralized life support systems, the focus is shifting to the creation of self-sufficient communities at the level of residential complexes or neighborhoods. Organization of rainwater collection. Creation of local filtration systems. Arrangement of communal kitchens using firewood or gas. Organization of collective security and patrols. The use of basements and underground parking lots as temporary shelters and warehouses.